Hello, gents. Welcome to another edition of Gaz's Take, as it's now been named. It's been a big 2 weeks in football. It's been a few trades happening. A few different things. A few upsets. A few teams now finals. The top four is set, I believe. Top three. Look, I won't. I'll talk about that later. Fifth position still being fought out for by between a few other teams. Hang on, I'll bring it up. I'm sort of going off the cuff here. Thought I'd be more prepared, but the big news in football is the baggers. How good is that Jack Nunes fellow? What a goal! Wins the game and keeps Carlton's season alive. Fourth position is, actually, Mitch could jump up into fourth with a big win. Jess is still fighting for that fifth spot. A lot actually could happen between fourth and fifth, so a bit closer than what I thought. But let's get stuck into it, and I'll just crack one of these to start it off. Cheers. All right, here we go. Let's look at week 11, because I haven't done this for a little while. With Footy Frenzy made it a little bit harder. I might actually do 2 Gagas this week. Basically 2 weeks of football, two times to go Gaga, really. All right, round 11, we saw bit of an upset, really. The Didacs going down to Hogan's Cousins. Not sure if I can review that week. Give me a sec. I can. Just some pretty average scores from a lot of Dan's players. Tom Hawkins been good. Charlie Dixon been good. Goes against my regulation of tall forwards doing well. My phone battery is about to die, so hopefully I can get through the podcast with that. Dunkley a little bit disappointing for Dan. Hawkins good. Stewart good. Liam Ryan good. Segler poor. But Dan also played 2 men down with a few laid outs. And obviously the buys coming into play, but a big score from Mitch. Laddams doing well, 138. Zorko, 163. Clayton Oliver been good since the AFL has come back. Goldstein, 100, which was good. Menegola, 154. Dangerfield, dominant. Sarah, dominant. And just the 302-point win for the Hogan's Cousins, which kept his finals dream alive. Into Matt played the bye, so got another win on the board for him. Well done. Some pretty average score, really. He had a lot of players not playing. Only 3 players to get over 100, which is a little bit disappointing, but that sort of sums up Matt's year, really. Close one between the Prestige Homosexuals and 165 not out. Tom getting the win. I kind of needed that one to go my way, but it didn't. The trade for Taylor Adams actually ended up costing me the win. That's pretty much got me done and dusted with me coming in to play Tom in the week 12. But look, trading I thought was a smart thing to do, but unfortunately it didn't pay off for me. But enough about me. Butters did well for Tom. Reece Stanley did well. Taylor Adams did well. Brody Smith, Duday, 102 and then got injured. Merritt, 137. Ridley and Bowes all did well. Adam played a man down and lost by, 19 points, 18 points. Some big scores from Vlosten, McInerney, Witherden, Petrarca as usual, Dumont, Mitchell, Maynard as usual as well. But just playing a man down. Look, probably thought it was the right thing to do. Thought he was pretty comfortable going into the last game of the round, but didn't pay off for young Adam. Josh the Sash, a valiant effort from Henners, attempting to put up a good score to make the rest of the season interesting. Henners had some big scores in Zach Bailey, 111, Dom Sheed, 137, Luke McDonald, 138, Tarrant, 103, Duncan, good, Grundy, good, Crouch, good. But John was just too good with Boak putting up 128. Look, some pretty poor scores across the board, but a Brayshaw 150 and Fife 130 always helps. And his 2 Eston players did pretty well as well. I think the only game I missed from that round is myself, and my phone's decided to freeze on me. Give me a second. Myself versus Darcy. I took a risk thinking that I could beat Jess that week. Turns out it didn't go off in my favour. And I ended up losing pretty comfortably to Jess. Lockie Neal was good for me. Ollie Wines was great for me. Rockcliffe was good. English was good. Murphy was good. But then there was a lot of bad for me. Jack Martin going down with an injury, only putting 18 up. But Das had a big score from McCluggage, Natanui, Sam Welsh, Elliot Yeo, Laird 185. That was just about the difference, really. If you got his projection, I think I would have been a bit more competitive. Also played a man down. I think I had too many players on my bench. I didn't want to drop any, so that happens. And that's going to bleed into my Gazgo's Gaga on myself in week 11. Tried to make a big move. Tried to pull something off thinking I was too good for Jess. But unfortunately, Jess did a trade as well that week. Didn't see it coming, meaning that he got... who did he bring in? He brought in Warple, who got 96. Had he not done that trade, I would have won. So had we both not done our trades, the score would have been a different way. Sorry, the head was getting a bit itchy there. So me thinking that finals was all done and dusted, backed myself to get there. In the end, has cost me finals. So dismal by the very bets. Cooked myself. No one to blame but myself. And that's all I'll do. But Gaz, you're a fuckhead. That's pretty much it. On to round 12. Now this week became very interesting with some big games. I'll start with John, the bye. Put up a big score, great, but you played the bye, so you've been gifted the draw this year. We'll touch on that in a bit. Barbecues Chalor, shit again against anyone. And a 90 to start off the week. Blitzars was good for you. Sidebottom was good. Bontempelli with that trade that caused a lot of controversy. Put up 199 for yourself. That's huge. Seedsman, not very good. Hurley, 110. Zach Jones, good, but just too many poor scores. Like 1573 is normally not a bad score, but Mitch just went huge. Rampy 140, Dangerfield 124, Menegola again another 100, Goldstein 134, Clayton Oliver big again, Zorko big, Zimkin big, Libba big. Mitch is a bit of a smoky if he can pull off finals. Putting up some big scores towards the end of the year. Wouldn't write him off there, gents. Let's go to Prestige Homos versus the Stevics. Now, Adam, again, a trade that's cost you. If you'd had Bont's score, you would have won. That's basically what it's come down to. And has had some good scores in Cunningham not being one of them. Anderson 143, Luke McDonald 119, Grundy 148, Crouch 132, Darling 124, O'Meara 116. Some big scores there. Adam had Zach Williams 111. Lions did well, Witherden well. Big O, good again for him. Dumont very well. Charlie Cameron just stinks at the moment. Don't know what's going on with him. Petrarca 125, good as usual. Tom Mitchell did well for you, but the devastating news of Sicily getting injured will probably make your finals quite difficult. I think you're well aware of that because I hear about it a fair bit. Vlosten did well, but yeah. And on to my game. What can I say? That's when I pretty much knew finals were done for me. Started off pretty well. Coniglio got below what Taylor Adams' score was. Josh Kennedy did well for Tom. Hopper was disappointing. Core was disappointing. Ollie Wines was disappointing. Rockcliffe was disappointing. Jonas was disappointing. Neil, good as usual. But then I just got struck down with a Myercheck injury. That was basically the difference. If he gets his projected, I'm a chance to win and go into this week with a chance to make finals. But unfortunately, Tom just too good. With like I said, Kelly doing well, Higgins doing well, Adams, look, just had to go big against me and got 115. Ryder, good, another form of very bets, doing well. And Shuey 101 and Bose again 104. So another good performance by Tom. And I'm going to lead that into my next cook. Gaz goes Gaga for the second time. Now, I'd just like to make you aware of one thing that has occurred. I'm going to have a sip of my beer first. Now, as the ladder currently stands, Josh the Sash, or John Cheating, as I like to call him, is sitting second on the ladder. Just might give you a little bit of a review of the Sash's big scalps this year. So he's played the bye twice. He's played the bye 4 times if you count Henners. He lost to Mitch. He beat Matt. He lost to Dan. He lost to Adam. He beat Jess. He beat Tom. He beat me. There's actually, as it stands, one team that John has beaten in the top 5, and he's sitting second on the ladder. Now, if that's not being kissed on the dick, I don't know what is. He's beaten nobody, and he's sitting second on the ladder. He's won 8 games, and one of those teams is in the top 5. It's just astonishing. The 4 games that he's lost. Adam, Dan, Mitch, and what was the other one? Tom. So he's beaten Tom and lost to Tom, but he's only beaten one team in the 5 as it stands. 2 teams if you count Mitch. Wait, no, I'm wrong here. He's only beaten one team because he didn't beat Mitch. Could you be any more gifted in a draw? I don't understand it. I potted his team at the start of the year, and that's exactly why, because he's beaten no one and he's somehow sitting in top of the finals. There's another thing you can do on the Supercoach website. I'll hold it up on the screen and see if it shows. You can do a ladder for points scored. Sorry, points against. You can do both. Points against. Can you say this? Well, that actually works pretty good. No, it did. Hang on, where are we? The bye has copped more points against, which is probably serviceable. But look, see right down the bottom. John's sitting second on the normal ladder, and he is second last for points against. It's ridiculous. He's played nobody. Nobody. And if you go points scored, he's 4th, and he somehow made the finals. This is ridiculous. Dan, great. Scored the most points sitting on top of the ladder. I've scored the second most of points and finished 7th. Adam, serviceable. But I just don't understand how, you do everything right and then you have a team like John. And that brings me back to my final thing on this. It was raised to me a few weeks ago. Is there something about this season that's a little bit different? I'm officially marking this year the year of the asterisks. Whoever wins the flag this year gets an asterisk next to their name. There's nothing fair, especially if it's John. There's nothing fair about playing the bye twice. If Dan wins it, no asterisk. Anyone else, there's an asterisk next to it. Dan's had probably the hardest draw of anyone, and he's somehow managed to be finishing on top. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable that John... I just don't get it. I just don't get it. He's played nobody and he's finishing second. Fuck you, John. Anyway, let's go back to something a little bit light. I'm sorry, I'm cooked from that cook. Let's go on to my tips for the next round. I noticed that a lot of teams have played. Only the teams that have made the finals or looking to make the finals have been active on the waiver wire. Adam bought in Gary Rowan. Jess bought in Ebert. Mitch bought in Norton. Dropped Gresham. Tom's bought in Bruce. Maybe check the news on that one, Tom. Just check the news. I'll say that. Adam bought in Noah Anderson. Excuse me. Interesting that Dan bought in Dalhouse, who was meant to be out for another 2 weeks. So, don't know if that's forward planning. Tom's bought in Matheson, and Adam also bought in Barras. Adam's been struck down with injuries, and I can understand why he's doing that. On to my tips for the round to come. Round 13. Last round of the season. We have Adam versus the bye. So congratulations on the win. I play Henners in a dead rubber. I think the only thing that can save Matt from buying the beers is, in fact, Matt winning by a lot. So that's pretty much set. I can also make finals if I somehow gain 15%, which isn't going to happen. Mitch versus John. Mitch should win that comfortably. The interesting one is Tom versus Jess. Look, this game's very important for both teams' series. I'm going to say that Tom's going to win. I'm just not quite sure how Jess's team will match up against Tom. I think it's quite strong now. I think I potted a bit this year. I always pot Jess, so I'll lay off you a little bit. And the final game of the round is Dan cementing top spot by playing by playing Matt in the last round. I think that's just about all I've got. I know it's a pretty quick one. I'm not speaking to anyone. I don't think anyone messaged through any topics that they wanted as such to go on the podcast. Give me a second. Adam's open for trades. Give me 1 sec. I'll be back. So I was watching this over and I realised I forgot to review one game in particular in round 12. Congratulations to Dan on the biggest score for the season with 1932. Had some huge scores. Look at your numbers. 137, 204. Like he had Dixon that got 29, but there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 players that scored over 110. That's pretty darn good. Wow. Well, I guess maybe that's what happens when you're quiet in the group chat for a bit. Your team just starts to forward itself and look good. That's pretty darn good. Hawkins 204 against arguably one of the better teams in the competition. Jess put up 1543, who just about anyone would have beaten this week, but Dan just goes bang with a huge score. Well, there you go. Well done on that one. My eyes are looking a bit funky at the moment, but well done. Score of the week. Maybe I'll do some awards in next week's podcast. Top scorers, lowest score of the year, etc., etc. But this was just a snippet because I realised I forgot it. So enjoy the rest. Fuck you, John. Sorry about that, guys. I was going to try and see if someone was available to jump in with me, just have a bit of a chat, but it doesn't look as though they were. I might also play a joke rather than me doing a joke. It's one that was sent to me by a current member of the league. I would tell it myself, but I think it'd just be better coming from the great man's mouth himself. Let's see if this works.
We're in the jungle. 3 men, Jim, were in the jungle and were captured by female savages.
Right.
And
were told that their doodles would be removed, Jim, in a manner appropriate to their jobs. The first bloke was a lumberjack, Jim, so he got his chopped off. Bang!
Thank you, Bill. Yeah. Yep.
The second one, he was a butcher, so he got his sliced off, Jim. The third
That's
man,
the noise for being sliced off, is it? Yeah.
the third man was just sitting there laughing, Jim. And the savages said to him, "What's so funny?" He said, "Well, I work for Dyson."
Come on, Fat. What the hell? Yeah, no,
You know what that
I'm
means?
aware of what Dyson means. Yeah.
You know what happened?
I don't think we probably need to even elaborate on it. Just get plastic in and away we go.
3 men, Jim, were in the
Oh, that's a bit of fun from old Billy Brownless. Yeah, probably tells it better than what I would have. I did attempt to read it and write it down, but a little bit too good for me is young Billy, old Billy. But yeah, that's about all I've got for this week. Best of luck to everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. As I say every week, let's catch up for a Zoom beer. Me, Adam, and Jared Appleby did a chat the other week watching the Carlton game. That was quite fun, especially when Nunes kicked the goal. I think Adam might have some footage of Jared jumping up and down after that. Again, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Pup Style. There is a code if anyone needs any discounted prices, or I think I had a 20% going on at one point. Yeah, that's all we've got for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll do a review next week, and then I guess we'll go into finals, which are going to be interesting. A little bit of controversy with the buys. I think the big bulk buy helps some teams and not others. But look, we'll talk about that next week when the top 5 is finalised. But that's all from me, guys. Cheers. Fuck you, John.